Wytheville Town Council meeting, 10/2025, Municipal Building 150 Monroe Street, Virginia. At this point, I have a statement to make. The Town Council has been considering different ways to keep citizens and employees safe. The Council appreciated all the comments expressed by the citizens about the firearms ordinance. At the last meeting, the Town Council listened to these concerns that were expressed and removed the firearms ordinance from the agenda. The ordinance will not be considered again, and it will not be placed on another Town Council meeting agenda during my tenure as mayor of the town of Wytheville. So we will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Kathy Patterson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next would be approval of the agenda. It is as presented or somehow amended.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Right, hearing none. Be a roll call vote. Vice Mayor?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Patterson, aye.
And aye.
Next would be consent agenda, which is, consent agenda for the minutes of the regular meeting of October 27, 2025. Requires a motion and a vote.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Next on the agenda is citizens period. And we do have some people, I think, that signed in to speak. I will just remember to come up to the podiums, get your name, your address, and move forward from there. So the first one that wants to speak is Joe. Joe.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Apologize.
All right.
Again, state your name and your address, please.
My name's Joe Upcavage, live in 804 Cinnamon Run. I just wanted to speak on the Second Amendment. I understand that it won't be considered again. How that whole thing happened is beyond me, especially considering public safety. Public safety is not taking away the citizens' attempt to be safe and protect themselves. Just want to say that's wrong, it's sneaky, and should never have been considered, and pushing it off and blaming a staff member instead of being open, honest, and transparent. Honesty, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Next is a question mark for Mr. Tim Monahan. Do you want to speak? Mr. Okay, we'll go forward. Mr. Ham. Again, if you speak your name.
Good evening, Randall Ham. I live at 390 Wytheville Drive here in town. I attended and spoke during the 27 October meeting, specifically addressing the firearms ordinance originally included in the meeting's agenda. After reviewing the FOIA files shared by Mr. Stacy Terry, I feel a bit foolish for accepting this council's responses to citizen inquiry. Were the documents Mr. Terry shared on social media accurate and provided by you or your office, Ms. Corbin?
That's correct.
In hindsight, it appears this council chose to blame Ms. Corvin rather than taking ownership of your decisions in support of an ordinance restricting citizens' constitutional rights. Ms. Corvin shares in your blame. However, according to the file shared in response to Mr. Terry's FOIA, all but Mr. Hand were not only aware of the ordinance, but supported it. At the 27 October meeting, you all denied being aware of the firearm ordinance prior to public release, with the exception of Mayor Taylor. It was clear during the meeting Mayor Taylor had prior knowledge of the proposed first and final firearms ordinance proposal. At the 27 October meeting, all of you declared your support for the Second Amendment and/or constitutional right of citizens to carry. Many of you shared that you too have your concealed carry permits. According to the email provided in the FOIA response, Ms. Corvin requested town council feedback related to the proposed town manager update on 25 September, 1 full month before the release of the agenda. I've already said that. The included town manager update was very detailed. The request was to restrict citizens' Second Amendment rights on town property. The proposal was apparently in response to one inquiry submitted to Ms. Corvin or her office related to citizens carrying firearms at the farmers market. One inquiry. Ms. Pattison responded on 25 September, the same day as Ms. Corvin's email. I asked the town council to adopt an ordinance prohibiting firearms on town property. During the 27 October council meeting, Ms. Pattison said, I support the Second Amendment rights, period. Ms. Johnson responded on 29 September, I have no issue with the prohibition of firearms and ammunition, etc., as we need to keep our constituents and vendors safe. During the 27 October council meeting, Ms. Johnson said, I didn't ask for the ordinance to be included on the agenda, and I'm in favor of citizens carrying. According to the handwritten vote tally on the left margin of the town manager update, Mayor Taylor and Ms. Atkins were also in support of the proposed firearms ordinance. During the 27 October meeting, Mayor Taylor said she supports concealed carry. According to the FOIA documents, 4 out of 5 town council members were in support of this ordinance. Mr. Hand's response was not included. So I'd like to ask you, sir,
I was absent from that meeting, and I did not even see that.
I understand that you were absent from the meeting, sir, but were you able, did you review the town manager update sent on 25 September prior to agenda release on 23 October?
No, sir, I did not. I was out for multiple meetings back-to-back with a family member, and I was out, meaning I just was out. I didn't even look at it. I looked at it for the first time. I actually called and asked that it be resent to me on my email last Monday when this first came out, because I had never seen the correspondence between the council and the town manager. I had never seen until it came out in the FOIA request. The same as everybody else, I didn't know that any of that existed. I never heard a conversation about a gun ever in the 10 months that I've been here, ever.
Understood.
I wasn't there during the time, so I did not respond, but I didn't even see that until last week. I was out and I just didn't read all that.
So your response on the 27th to citizen inquiry led me to my responses on the 27th to show a little grace. Would you say that perhaps your response to citizen inquiry might have been a bit uninformed or premature?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. How do each of you reconcile your public statements during the 27 October Town Council meeting with the written record provided in the FOIA response?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, would you repeat the question?
Yeah, how do you reconcile your statements at the public Town Council meeting on 27 October with your written responses in the documented in the FOIA request and/or the indicated approval of the proposal in the margin on the left-hand side of the town manager update?
Okay, now I'll go first because I have a response, but I don't see like everybody's response. Okay, I've not seen the FOIA request that apparently is out there on Facebook. But everything that I said that night, I feel I was accurate. I did not lie. I did see the town manager's report. I read it. If it's one person's concern, I think I should be able to listen to it and hear it in a public, to discuss it. From my understanding, the word is out that I was the one who asked for it, that I inquired about it.
I'm not implying that.
Well, no, well, I'm just saying that's what people, did you put this on the agenda? No, I did not put it on the agenda. Did I see it on the town manager's report? Yes. And the reason I put yes is I'm willing to talk about it and I'm willing to hear about it. Did I see the full actual ordinance? No, I did not see it until Thursday when I picked up my packet after 3:30. So when people say, hey, did you know it was on the agenda? It didn't say when it was coming out on the agenda. I didn't know anybody else's reply. If they weren't on the agenda, I'm willing to listen to a citizen. You know, I have friends that carry, I have friends that don't. But if a citizen doesn't think that I'm going to be open-minded and listen to their response, there were some things that could have been tweaked, but no, sir, I did not know anything. I did not know it was coming out on the meeting, on the agenda until that Thursday after I picked up my packet. And I don't go home and read my packet verbatim like that night. I have things I have to do. When I got a message from someone, I'm going to read my statement and then people can believe me, take me for my word. People that know me, okay? I'm willing to listen. Yes, my reply was yes, because I'm willing to listen. If the town manager and the town attorney thinks it's something that we should, I'm going to speak for myself, that thinks that needs to be looked into, by all means, I'm willing to listen. They've been in their roles a whole lot longer than I've done serving my 6 off years. So anyway, for the past few weeks, probably a little bit more than that, I've been told to pick a side. I'm not here to pick a side. I was elected to listen to the community and hear people's side. I'm not just, I'm not closed-minded, but I have friends and family that carry, some don't. And I love them just the same, regardless what they decide. From my understanding, people are saying that this was brought up by me. No, sir, it was not. From my understanding, it was an inquiry of the farmer's market, like from what you said, on the farmer's market from the town manager report. I do not know who that was. I was asked, Holly, do you not know who called in? No, I do not. That's a true statement. I did read about it in the town manager's report. Yes, I did. I'm not closed-minded, and I wanted to listen and hear the town manager's, her input, the town attorney, to do it out in public. Is it something that needs to be talked about? If they say it needs to be talked about, yes, that's why I put yes. And like I said, I'm not for sure the other council's reply, because from my understanding, it doesn't work that way. I don't know what the others said. So anyway, yes, I'm okay with listening to concerns of all sides of an issue, regardless of what it is. I believe that the citizens would want me to listen on either side of any issue. That is transparency, and that's what I said I would do. I did not know which meeting it would come out, which people said that, that we know about it. From my understanding, we don't get the agenda until Thursday. That's how it's happened before in the past. I did not know which meeting date it would come out on, or if it even made the meeting, because I didn't know any other people's reply. In the town manager report, it said in a meeting, but not a date. It didn't list which date. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm going by my little notes here, sorry. I did not know what the entirety of the ordinance said until it came out on the agenda that Thursday before Monday's meeting. So that is an accurate statement. I usually pick up my hard copy package, because I like this, I'm old school, by that packet. The meeting that Thursday before Monday's meeting. Everything I said that Monday was accurate to the best of my knowledge. And I will continue to be impartial and hear the citizens, regardless if they carry, don't carry. And I'm sorry if people lost faith in me or whatever, but all that is accurate to what I stated.
So I'm just going to respond really briefly. I'm not asking you any other questions because I'm going to run out of time.
That's fine.
I would just encourage you to keep in mind that we voted you into office, not the town manager and not the town attorney. I understand leveraging their expertise, but to a certain extent, we have to push back against some of the legalese. And beyond that, though, I will say I perfectly and and totally understand what you just said about open and honest debate. Honest being the key word. I think it's a little more nuanced in terms of when a proposal was submitted by the town manager versus when the agenda was updated and released. Prior knowledge is prior knowledge. Now, your personal input on October 27th was a little less inflammatory than anyone else's, in my opinion, so I'm not coming at you.
Well, and that's fine. I appreciate you asking, but the attorney has a little bit more knowledge than myself, and Ms. Corbin, you know, did her job prior to this. And to me, if it's something that should be discussed regardless what it is, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to at least hear what they have to say. And like I said, I did not know what the ordinance said verbatim until it came out that Thursday.
I agree with debate. We agree there.
No, thank you very much.
Anyone else care to reconcile their public statements on the 27th with their written responses to the town manager's inquiry?
I just think at the beginning of all this, town council was really just interested in trying to keep our citizens safe, and there was no dialogue when we had any discussion about whether or not somebody can carry or not carry. That was what the initially, what can we do? And so it was put out there that we can, during events and whatnot, we can maybe ask to not have any concealed weapons. Was it wrong doing it that way? Obviously it was, and I apologize.
Madam Mayor, I don't think anyone here's here to debate the process that was debated on 27 October. My concern, I left here a happy man on 27 October. I felt like I got a reasonable answer. Government is government. Mistakes are made all the time. But in hindsight, after seeing the FOIA documents and rewatching the YouTube video from the 27th of October, I have some serious concerns. And those concerns aren't about the process. It's about your ability to be honest with your constituents. Plain and simple. You guys told us in that meeting that none of you had prior knowledge of the proposal, that all of you supported constitutional Second Amendment rights, some of you even carry, and didn't know how or when that proposal came up or how it made it to the agenda, when in fact we have written evidence that at least three of you responded by email that not only you support debating it, but that you support the actual proposal. That there is a huge conflict in your public statements and your written statements that has to be addressed. How can we trust you guys to run the town if you can't be honest with us in a meeting? Given the contradictions between your public statements during the 27 October meeting and the written record provided in the FOIA response, how do you suppose restricting citizen firearm possession on town property increases public safety? For those of you that endorse the proposal. Three of you endorsed it in writing. No input in terms of how it would improve safety. Thank you for that. During the 27 October meeting, Ms. Johnson mentioned that she wouldn't intentionally support infringing on constituent constitutional rights. How do you reconcile that statement against your written statement in response to Ms. Corbin's request for feedback, Ms. Johnson? Was your support of the proposal an unintentional infringement, or did you view the proposal as not infringing on your constituent Second Amendment rights?
Once again, I have no intentions, and I made that clear to Stacey Terry, on infringing upon anyone's rights. There was a concern, if you read in the town manager's report, the farmer's market. My response was to what was in the farmer's market and keeping the constituents safe as well as the vendors. I would have liked to have had further discussion in a meeting with all of you present. I had no problem with you being present. But the opportunity to have discussion, I think that we are placed here to discuss issues in our community. Mm-hmm. And if we don't address and discuss issues, then we cannot make the necessary changes that need to be made.
I agree with that, but that doesn't really answer the question, Ms. Johnson. I understand if you don't want to.
That's my answer.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else who endorsed it in writing care to quantify how that would improve public safety, the proposal? Because I'm here to listen. If there's good intent and measurable outcomes behind it, public discussion, right? Let's talk about it. But it seems there's a conflict in your written behind the scenes statements and support versus your public comments. Given the unanimous and seemingly untrue excuse that none of you, except the mayor, knew about the proposal before the public release of the agenda, do any of you care to explain why you then withdrew your support of the firearms ordinance?
I'd like to make a statement, please. So on the morning when the afternoon when this email came out, when I saw it the first time, I sent an email that hasn't been seen to all of the council, including the mayor, asking how in the world did this get on the agenda without the full knowledge of council. I was stunned by that, and I suggested that it be taken off immediately because I was shocked by that. That was the response that I sent out to everybody as soon as I read it.
Thank you for that, Mr. Hand. In fact, that leads to my last question, and that is the FOIA response appeared to exclude some information due to attorney-client privileges, which I'm sure makes legal sense. But in that context, do you all care to share any information that may provide additional transparency or citizen understanding previously withheld? Basically, do you want to tell us anything else that happened that wasn't included in the FOIA response that might help us better understand what led to this moment?
I'm sure if you had a FOIA response, you got everything that was available.
No, in fact, I don't. Mr. I forget his name, Terry Stacy, posted it on social media. Ms. Corvin confirmed that what I was viewing was accurate. And it says in the response that some information was withheld due to attorney-client privileges. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next person who signed up, Kenneth Robert Rowland. Mr. Kenneth Rowlett. All right, sir. You just state your name and.
I'm Kenneth Rowlett. I live at 200 South 12th Street here in town. Thank you for asking for the FOIA request. And my question is, I think, how did this derive? What crime was committed at the farmer's market that suggested that our citizens were at risk for harm? And then it shifted gears from the farmer's market to our parks. It's like a sleight of hand. Look here, but don't look over here kind of ordeal. And I think it's what, as a citizen of town, I'm speaking, I can't speak for everybody else, but what's got me confused is how it all derived about the safety of our citizens in our parks. When the situation had happened at a farmer's market, was our crime committed? Was somebody harmed? I'm kind of confused. I'm kind of confused here and looking for answers. As a town citizen, what happened? Because when we start talking about safety in our parks, what is our concern? What brought this about our parks in the whole conversation anyway? Is there crimes committed in our parks? I brought up in our meeting with the homeless people and the drug. By the way, I thank you for a conversation we had, and thank you for I've seen action take place toward that But I'm still asking, how did this come about to begin with? How was people put in harm's way? We're in a open carry state. I conceal carry. A lot of times I have one on me. You may or may not know I have one on me at the time, but we are in an open carry state. If a person open carried at our farmer's market, he's with his legal right to do so. Unless it was a sign outside of the door saying firearms prohibited. I can't take one in Walmart. I'm not supposed to take one in there. I can't take one in a hospital or even this building. So if a man is open carry, what triggered the situation suggesting somebody was in harm's way? That's my question.
Well, the park situation was part of my idea.
Okay.
Because we deal with a lot of homeless people.
All right.
And some of these homeless people, they have a mental, I guess, behavior. And, there's been situations where needles were found, drugs were found.
Yeah.
And, to me, I thought that was a major, issue with the public.
Right.
And I believe that we should have somebody at the parks at all times.
Right.
Because, you can't keep homeless people away from the parks. I mean, they just come, when the police go, the people come in.
Right.
And, with the people walking in the park, I feel like it is a major issue with, the citizens.
Right.
And, the park situation was, part of, me speaking up.
Right.
I'm not really familiar with the farmer's market,
All right.
but I feel like people should be safe at the parks. And,
I agree with you.
With Mr. Ham, with the dogs, I feel like if a dog's walking around in the park and they sniff on drugs or, some kind of narcotics,
Right.
that gives us probable cause to, interact with that person. So the park issue was, more of me speaking up.
Yeah, I had an issue. I've got a second job with Humble and Kind group home with the Spanglers. We took the handicapped fellas to your park out here. Well, one of the guys brought a bag of drugs they found in the old, of course it's tore down now, bleachers out there. And we called an officer and handed the drugs over to the officer. So I get where you're coming from. And I understand now where the park coming. But how did it derive from, I guess, and you answered partly, but in that FOIA request, it seemed like we had an incident at the farmer's market. Now, what happened there that we don't know about that brought attention to all of this? I guess about the firearm issue. Why was it even brought up? I guess that's another question I have. And thank you for answering the question.
Well, sir, that was because we received an email from the farmer's market asking us if we had an ordinance prohibiting guns at the farmer's market. So when we started looking at that, then according to the state code, and all the verbiage in the ordinance was strictly from state code, it covered everything from the events, being on the streets at the events, to the parks, to various town properties. And so that's where that came from. When they asked us about that, then we looked at everything.
Okay, but what was anybody put in harm's way?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, see, that's where
the email didn't tell us that.
We're in an open carry state, and they didn't commit no crime. If they was at the farmer's market and it was prohibited, law enforcement should have been called.
But right now, they're not prohibited. So that's what we're saying.
Okay, but what I'm saying, even if I open carried at the farmer's market, I'm within my legal right to do so as long as I don't brandish my firearm or put nobody at risk. There was not a crime committed or any soul put in harm's way.
If it was, I did not hear anything from the farmer's market executive director about that.
Okay,
she
so
didn't
why
give me the example of why she was even asking me. It just came as an email to the assistant town manager.
Okay, so why was it a discussion if there's not a crime committed with somebody carrying a firearm? Why was it even a discussion about prohibiting it from being in the parks and on town properties?
Because it was just, we were looking at the whole situation of how to try to you know, keep people safe.
Everywhere else, it's not permitted for a firearm.
Or just treat criminals like criminals.
Exactly.
Well, we can't put up the signs without the ordinance.
Well, we shouldn't have to have a sign unless somebody commits a crime in the first place, though.
Yeah.
Just because I carry doesn't mean I'm not a law-abiding citizen.
Right, and I don't know what happened at the farmer's market to prompt the email. Honestly, don't know that. I don't know if somebody just open carried, made somebody nervous. I don't know exactly what the issue was.
Well, that's where a lot of citizens, and I'm speaking on behalf not only myself but other people that I know in town that I work with. We're like, how did it even come about? You know, if I can understand if a crime was committed, but just because somebody carries doesn't make that they're putting anybody at harm's way.
And I don't know what's prompted the situation that caused the question to come to our office. If we could, you know, people were allowed to carry guns. I don't know if the police know of something that may have happened at the farmer's market. I'm not for sure what caused the prompt of the question.
Well, it should have never been tabled then unless a crime was committed. That's what
And I
I'm trying
can't
to
answer
say.
that unless the police know of something.
Yes, I'm just basically asking, I just wanted to, I just didn't understand how it shifted from years to get to this point to
I
begin
think it was
with.
just to look at the overall town properties and events and things like that.
I guess that's all I got to say, unless y'all.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry.
Next, Robin Pisano.
Hi, I'm Robin Fasano, as my dad would say, so it's Fasano. And I'm about visual aids. And I'm going to give one to you because you take ownership of quite a bit of that. So these are the copies of things from the report. I spoke at the meeting on the 27th, and I, like others, I really left with some confusion, left with a little bit of confidence, left with a little bit of attitude. I left with several things. But on the first page, and I'm going to read this so the rest of you all who don't have a copy of this know what I'm talking about. First thing I want to say, after this gentleman spoke and drove home the point of honesty, I think it's a stretch for you all for most of you, to call us constituents because we're not supporting what's happening. So on the second page, first page, as he brought to your attention due to attorney-client privilege, have no idea what that would be. Second page is from Sherry Corbin to Beth, Candace, Kathy, Holly, and Joseph. Please see the attached town manager update for this week, dated September 25th, a month before the meeting. Town manager update dated September 25th. All items needing a response are in bold and highlighted in yellow. Now I printed from a black and white printer, so that's what's highlighted. And out next to number 3, which was the topic at hand, and in print, someone wrote Kathy, yes, Candace, yes, Beth, yes, Holly, yes. Now, Ms. Atkins states that her yes means that she was willing to talk about it. But number 3 says, this week the town received an inquiry about people carrying firearms at the farmer's market. I researched the matter. That would be you, Ms. Corbin, I'm assuming?
That's correct.
To see what ordinances we had passed. The town personnel ordinance notes that employees can have firearms on town property as long as they are locked inside their vehicle. Currently, the town does not have an ordinance prohibiting the possession, carrying or transportation of firearms, ammunition, or a combination thereof in any town-owned building or on town-owned property. Since the council is looking at ways to make our properties more secure, quote, Ms. Corvin, I think it would be a good idea for the council to adopt an ordinance prohibiting firearms, ammunition, or a combination thereof on any town-owned property. If the council agrees, I will prepare an ordinance that mirrors the state law language, ask Town Attorney Castle to approve it, and then place it on a meeting agenda for the council's review and approval. Please let me know your thoughts on the town council adopting this ordinance so I can begin to work on it. Now, I became aware of this because there was a screenshot of what was going to be on the agenda, and this was on the agenda for the 27th of October for a first and final vote. So my first question would be, between September 25th, Kathy, yes; Candace, yes; Beth, yes; Holly, yes. Joe, I'm not calling your name out.
Can I clarify that
And
real quick?
may I finish my point, please?
Yes, ma'am.
That ended up on Facebook. And I know that you're active on Facebook. And it clearly stated that this was on the agenda for a first and final vote on October 27th. So it sounds to me like the ordinance was being prepared already. Please let me know your thoughts on the town council adopting this ordinance so I can begin to work on it. Ms. Atkins, did you have?
I did, yes, ma'am. Like I said, I'm willing to talk about this. I did see this. Did it say what meeting? Did it say what agenda it would come out? No, it did not.
No, it doesn't.
Right, and it says for review. And like we have done here before, is we review it and we talk about it. Did I know it was coming out on that agenda? No, ma'am. And it says mirror the state. But did I know verbatim what day and exactly what it said? No, ma'am. And that's the honest, and I'm sorry if people mistake that wrong or whatever, but I'm being honest about that.
Well, I want to step back for just one other question. This week, the town received an inquiry about people carrying firearms at the farmer's market. Fast forward that to what was on Facebook for a first and final vote. Am I safe in assuming that if I have a question about something, that I can just call and I can just get put on an agenda? I can just make a phone call and say, I have a concern. It could be about anything, and I have a chance of a first and final vote at the upcoming meeting?
Well, it would be with the way the town council rules of procedure. I would speak with the mayor about that as to whether we would go on the agenda or not.
Well, considering that I found out about this just simply because of a Facebook post with it highlighted that it was being discussed that night as a first and final vote, I want you to understand that first and final vote is what got me. That statement alone, first and final vote. That sounds like discussion has taken place, there's a plan, and if there had not been a turnout like there was that night, I have no doubt in my mind, in my logical mind, that that would have been passed, and then we'd be reading about it later. So, moving forward is Ms. Johnson's email. I have no issue, which has been read, with the prohibition of firearms and ammunition, etc., as we need to keep constituents and vendors safe. Then that's followed up with Ms. Pattison. Now, Ms. Pattison, I asked town council to adopt an ordinance prohibiting firearms on town property. But when I was here at the meeting on the 27th and we took a recess, I was standing over here talking with a town officer, and you came up to me, and I don't know you, but you came up to me and you patted me on the shoulder and you thanked me for my comments. Yet you support the ordinance prohibiting firearms on town property. But you thanked me for
I thanked you that night for your comments. Yes, ma'am, I did. I certainly did.
Why did you thank me for my comments?
Because you made us all aware. I support whatever the Constitution says about bearing arms for citizens. I support that wholeheartedly.
But you ask the town council to adopt an
was asking-
ordinance prohibiting firearms on town property.
What I was asking for was additional information as to what happened.
Ma'am,
That's all I was asking for.
Ma'am, this says, I ask town council to adopt an ordinance prohibiting firearms on town property.
And I
That
think-
does not say, I am asking for clarification. I am
what
not
I meant.
asking for ongoing conversation. I am not asking for more information. That is not what that says.
I will fully agree with you, ma'am. I fully agree. However, Ms. Corbin knows I was asking for additional information. I only took that from her statement that she said she would be gladly trying to write up an ordinance for us to read and to support. I don't support an ordinance for that.
You said it in one sentence. That is my
I agree.
question.
I
Light them up,
agree.
Robert, light them up.
Well,
I mean, that's one sentence.
yes, ma'am, it is.
And when we go to the polls and we vote, we put, when you all campaign and you knock on doors and you have folks to get out here and speak for you and do all of those things, there's a lot of people who vote. For example, if you all were my friends and I said, I don't know who to vote for, I'm going to go to the people I know and I'm going to ask. I'm going to get advice from people that I know and people that I trust. That's who I'm going to go to. Who I know I am not going to is the town council. I don't trust you. I asked the question how that got on there, and your response, Ms. Taylor, was that you all work as a team. That is so blatantly obvious tonight that you work as a team. Joe, still again, you weren't at the meeting. There's no emails from you here. But you work as a team, you stick together. That is great, because I will tell you, you can mark my words tonight, that elections will be watched, and in the future, I'll be in one of those seats.
But can I ask the question? I'm not for sure. Can you come back to the poll?
Yes, I can.
What meeting are you talking about that he wasn't part of? Because I
The
don't.
closed door meeting on the 25th, where this was brought up, which is what he said a while ago when he spoke, that he was not at the closed meeting. But I also noticed that when you spoke, Mr. Hand, that the mayor raised your eyebrow to you.
So I missed 2 work sessions and 1 council meeting. I have a family member that had stage 4 cancer, and when I was out, which is why I did not even read the email during that time.
And
So-
that might be why your name, I'm defending you here, just so you know,
Thank you.
that might be why your name
It's not on
is
it
not on
because
this page
I never saw it.
with a
I
yes
never-
next to it,
Right, but I was out during that time.
with the recommendation to adopt the
But
ordinance.
Ms. Fasano, there was not a meet, from my understanding, there was never a meeting on this. It was just in the town manager's report. From my understanding, there wasn't a meeting.
Okay, if there wasn't a meeting, another thing is this was sent to you on the 25th, and like this gentleman pointed out, this was sent to you on the 25th, and to say that you didn't know anything about it, that's false from start to finish, because you got it on the 25th, and Ms. Johnson, you responded on September 29th, supporting it. And Ms. Pattison, you answered at 6:29 p.m. on September 25th, the day you received it, in support of it. So there's that. Disappointed is doesn't even cover what I'm feeling towards town council now. And again, I guarantee you, I'll be in one of your seats.
Next person on the agenda is Mr. Stacy Terry.
Good evening, council. Thank you all. My name's Stacy Terry, 200 Havens Road, Wytheville, Virginia, 24382. Thank you for your words. I greatly appreciate it. You summed it up. You and Ms. Fasano. I don't have a whole lot to add to it. People want three things from their government and local officials: accountability, transparency, truth. Haven't got any of that from here other than Joe. Joe, thank you. You admitted that you jumped the gun a little too quick on the meeting on the 27th, and I appreciate that. We had an awesome conversation on 24th of October, the Friday before the meeting. I defended you. You were honest with me on the phone call. I didn't like that Ms. Corbin got thrown under the bus. But what we have established tonight, as far as the five of you have no problem lying to the people. As far as it's not being discussed in a closed meeting, Mrs. Atkins, in the meeting on 10/27/25, 20 minutes into the meeting, you go watch the video, she advised that she was in the closed session or sessions where this was discussed. Anybody want to elaborate?
I said I was not in a closed meeting.
That's not what you said on video. 20 minutes in, it's on video. That come out of your mouth. That's fine. It's on video. Attorney-client privilege. Was there a closed session?
Oh, yes, sir, and they're listed on the agenda,
Okay.
whatever it is.
All right. I didn't get anything in my FOIA response I'd addressed. So there should have been a motion and a second, along with a roll call vote to go into closed session according to the Code of Virginia. And that Code of Virginia, I think, is under A or 2.23712, closed meeting procedure, certifications, and proceedings. I didn't get anything about a closed meeting in my FOIA request. Also, to go in closed meeting, it requires an option that fits the bill. That's 2.23711, then A, whatever the number is, to justify the closed meeting. I don't see any of that either. So what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to the FOIA council, and I'm going to let them review it. All five of you in here, I voted for all five of you. You two, I supported you hard on the campaigns, really hard. I'll vote for Joe again if he runs again. The rest of you, I'm completely done with. What we need to do is pitch a tent out here in the parking lot, put Big Top Circus, because that's what this is, and the clowns are in charge. You guys can't drive a cow to water, much less lead a town of government and people, and I'm done.
Our council is now going to take a recess.
No, I want to. Will you look back on those minutes? Because
There are no minutes from a closed meeting, but on the, we had a closed meeting for council security to talk about security. And so,
and there was never, from the best of my recollection, I said there were two things in question, and none of them that came out of my mouth or that I even recall was a gun, and that is what I stated. Is that correct, Mr. Castle?
The items that are discussed in closed session are confidential. That's
Yes.
why it's a closed session.
But the two things that were discussed was not a gun.
Keep standing on what you want to say.
Can I speak to you?
You make it very short, please. Sorry.
Sure did. Well, in your defense, my name's Jim Cohen, I'm a resident. My name and or my address is on that sheet. I don't really want to put it out in the world. I'm not going to beat you all up because I know what you're doing is a hard job. I'm sure of that. But I do want to share some things I've seen over the years I've sat in these chairs here. Number one, as everyone's spoken to you, integrity is huge. Period. We all make mistakes. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. Own it. Just own it. That's really the bottom line of all of this. But some of the things that concern me that I've seen is the instant reaction to one whining citizen. I mean, we've got Mountain View filled with stop signs. We've got speed bumps on this very road here that I can't figure out why we paid for. I mean, we just react just like one complaint at the thing. We need leaders, not nice people, which many of you are very nice people. I have no complaints. But we need leaders who can tell these people, no, I'm sorry you're tired of it, but there's no law against it, there's no crime committed. Sorry, if you'd like to speak about it, sign up, come in here and address it. You don't have to take up every complaint from every citizen. A leader doesn't do that. You already know what the town's about, what your rules are. You don't need to give in to every person that complains. Now, another problem, if it's your own pet project, you got to check that. But I'm not just going to blame you, because just as someone spoke, people voted for you. So if people voted for you, you're going to think your pet projects are exactly what everybody wants. But there's a whole town of people. There's a whole town. But unfortunately, most of them don't participate, so you probably got the most votes from your friends who agree with your pet projects. Just saying, my observations moving forward, you're all probably very nice people. So just consider the town is here. It's not just your people, and integrity above all else. Okay, and keep up the work, because you're in a tough job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Thank
We're
you,
now
Mr.
in
Cohen.
recess.
Mayor Taylor,
Going forward.
Mayor Taylor, I'd like to make a statement that was in the minutes of the last meeting. It does say here that I do not recall, it doesn't say I do recall. In the meetings, it states, she commented that she does not recall firearms being discussed in any closed session. So I want to put that on record. And that's what it states in the meeting, that's what it states in the minutes. That's on page 7. Mr. Terry, I just want to let you know on my minutes, on the minutes from the meeting, it says here that, no firearms were discussed in those closed meetings. That's what it states in the minutes. I'm sorry if the recording or whatever was off or the video, but that's what it says in the minutes. You probably have it, if you have the packet. Okay. We can probably get you one, yes, sir.
Okay, moving forward, please.
Thank
The Town Council will now consider adopting a resolution authorizing the interim town manager or town manager to execute all appropriate documents for the administration of the CDBG Monroe Street Housing Project, Production Project, and we'll hear from interim town manager, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is simply just a resolution that gives the interim town manager or the town manager the authority to sign and submit all the appropriate documents for the administration of the Monroe Street Housing Production Project. It's just for the signatory authority.
Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution authorizing the town manager to administer the CDBG project, whereas the town of Wytheville, in partnership with the Open Door Community Incorporated and Mount Rogers Planning District Commission, has applied for a Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development block grant to complete the civil site work for new multi-family housing project on West Monroe Street. Whereas the housing project intends to construct 32 new affordable housing units in the town of Wytheville, and whereas the town of Wytheville is currently in the pre-contract negotiation period with the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development and intends to enter into contract with DHCD for the grant funds related to the housing project. And whereas the town of Wytheville has received authorization from DHCD to release the invitation to bid to solicit proposals for the civic site work related to the project. And whereas the town of Wytheville recognizes the multiple documents, including but not limited to the DHCD contract and the construction contract with the selected site work contractor and other affiliated documents required to administer this project will need to be executed by the town to complete the project. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town council of the town of Wytheville, Virginia, hereby authorizes the interim town manager or town manager to submit all appropriate documents for administration of the CDBG Monroe Street Housing Project, adopted on this day, the 10th day of November, 2025. So, council, I will need a motion.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
And a motion, we have a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Right, here none. This will be a roll call vote. Vice Mayor?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Hand, aye.
So that motion carries. And is there any discussion? Hearing none. Next on the agenda is roll call vote. Yes. Mr. Hand? You did. I thought I did. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We should be on reports.
Do what?
We all voted, correct? We should be on reports at this time.
So next on the agenda is upcoming meetings by Chief Deputy Clerk Randy Jones.
I've got several. Due to the Veterans Day holiday, the Town of Wytheville municipal offices will be closed and all services will be curtailed on Tuesday, November the 11th. The Wytheville Redevelopment and Housing Authority will meet on Wednesday, November the 12th at 12 p.m. at the Housing Authority office. The Wytheville Tree Advisory Committee will meet on Thursday, November 13th at 8:30 a.m. in Conference Room A. The Wytheville Planning Commission will meet on Thursday, November 13th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Downtown Wytheville Incorporated will meet on Monday, November 17th at 5:30 p.m. at the Downtown Wytheville Incorporated office. The New River Regional Water Authority will meet on Thursday, November 20th at 10 a.m. at the Water Authority plant in Austinville. The District 3 Board will meet on Thursday, November 20th at 6 p.m. at the Marion office. The Homestead Museum Advisory Board will meet on Friday, November 21st at 10 a.m. at the Jackson House. And the next regular scheduled Wytheville Town Council meeting will be held on Monday, November 24th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. So on to other business, we'll go into council member time. Mr. Hand?
I don't have anything, thank you.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Guess that's my turn. I do have a request that we remove the tabled item rules of procedure. That we remove the table item rules of procedure so it can be added to another agenda. You need to vote on that? All right, so we'll have a motion. Does everybody know what I'm talking about?
So moved.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any further discussion? And none. Let's do a roll call vote. Vice Mayor?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Harrison, aye.
Hand, aye.
Item will come back to us at some point in the future.
You need to ask them.
You go ask them. You can't close it. You can't close the door.
Just a few things to share with folks. Exciting updates from the Wytheville Town Council. Community buzz. Congratulations to the Wytheville Community Center being the official training and fitness facility for the Blue
I can't hear
Ridge.
you, Mayor Taylor.
We can't hear you,
we
madam.
can't hear you.
I think they just left.
No, here, yeah. Okay, sorry.
All right, so congratulations to the Wytheville Community Center being the official training and fitness facility for the Blue Ridge Bobcats hockey team. And we want to thank you to all the citizens who attended the 2025 Trunk or Treat event. Your participation made it a great success with hundreds in attendance. Is everything in front of me?
Go ahead, sorry. Nothing at this time, Mayor Taylor.
I would like to extend my thanks to our hometown heroes and veterans. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and I would like to thank each and every veteran that has served our country. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for our veterans.
Anything else under council member time? Anything else come before us? All right. We are adjourned.